ECU? Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
Welcome in, Hoist the Colors on a Friday. It's a June 5th edition of the program. Big sports weekend ahead. We'll break that down. Super Regionals getting underway today. We'll make some Super Regional picks as well. Crazy game in the NHL Stanley Cup Finals last night. The Carolina Hurricanes rally. We'll talk about that too. We're going to continue on our State of the Position Room with ECU football. Yesterday we did tight ends, fairly quick preview. Today we'll dive more into the offensive line, so this may be a little bit more of an in-depth preview. We'll do that in segment 2. A lot of moving pieces. Pirates lose several starters to graduation. O-line, not the sexiest position, but if you don't have a good offensive line, you're going to struggle, especially when you open the season at Alabama. So we'll get into that and a whole lot more in segment 2. We'll also make some super regional picks. Really looking forward to seeing who we choose between Arkansas, Little Rock, and Troy. So we'll see what happens there. I was stalling in our opening segment here because Philip Pilkington, our producer today, was getting our guest, Bobby Harward, an earpiece because it wasn't working, and we had a mad scramble drill. Philip got it done, and Bobby, I think you can now hear us. How's it going?
It's going well. Like always, Philip came through, just like Seth Jarvis last night for the Hurricanes. Big win for the Canes. I know we're going to discuss that today, but it's also good. I'm in a little bit better mood because the Orioles have improved their play. I think the last time we checked at their run differential, we were at like minus 57 or something like that. We've gotten that down to minus 39. Half game out of the wild card. Huge series coming up against Toronto. Just beat Phillips Red Sox, and we got 7 out of our next 10 games here shortly coming up against your Seattle Mariners.
The Seattle Mariners also playing good baseball. I'm looking now. They have the second best run differential in the AL, which is crazy because the AL must be absolute garbage because the Mariners haven't even been that good. The Red Sox are actually hanging around a near even run differential, so maybe that's a positive for Phillips Red Sox. But either way, Philip, he's behind the glass. We got interns Kaylee and Mary hanging out. They're going to be doing our social media stuff today as well. Philip, you're rocking your Red Sox shirt. I do have to say, maybe for thank you for all of your hard work, I will get you a new – I feel like I need to get you a new Red Sox shirt. That one's looking a little worn, my friend.
No, the weird thing is actually fairly new. It was like something got on it in the wash and caused like just the lettering on it to like be faded. It kind of looks bad, but it kind of looks cool too because the rest of the shirt's completely fine. So it almost kind of looks like it was designed this way, but it's not. So I don't know. I think something sticky got on it or something, and it caused it to like rip the lettering off. But
is it a Fanatics brand?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, there you go.
I think we kind of have the same.
I think we are wearing pretty much the same shirt.
Yeah.
But
the team design shirt or whatever.
But yours is Nike. That's the quality is different because Fanatics has, I mean,
they butchered.
Never mind, mine's Nike.
Okay,
Yeah.
It is Nike. All right,
there you go.
I think the lettering just got warm or something. I live in a crappy apartment. I got those old school dryer. It's hot as crap. The washing machine half works. I think that was.
You're just trying to get your clothes done.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. My wife's always telling me I got the setting for the dryer turned up too hot. It's going to ruin my clothes. I'm just trying to get them done. Look, if I need to get a new shirt, I'll get a new shirt. Speaking of the family, we will talk NHL in a minute. I'm taking my 4-year-old to Mariners Orioles next week. Just the dad and son trip, Bobby. I think he's going to do great at the game. Look, he loves baseball. I take him to ECU games all the time. We went to Rockies Red Sox last year, and he lasted all nine innings at 3 years old. So not as worried about that. I am worried about the 5-hour car drive with some traffic. Just solo dad in the front.
Yeah.
Am I crazy for doing this?
No, you're not, because when you go up north like that and going up 95, especially when you get around Northern Virginia, D.C., like I always tell people, if you're not leaving before 10 a.m., you need to wait till like 4:30, 5 o'clock to leave Greenville, because otherwise you're just going to be sitting in traffic. But I'm pumped for you guys. Super jealous. Going to be an awesome trip. And, dude, they got I think I've told you this, they got a playground in the ballpark at Camden Yards, so even if Slater needs a little bit of a break, you can walk up. You need to get you a Natty Bow, get you a crab dog, and then crab dog, dude. It's a Maryland staple.
Yeah.
And then with y'all being on the lower level, y'all will have the best food options. So,
sweet,
dude, it's going to be a free-for-all. I'm curious more so how much money you spend on concessions for Slater.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot. But the tickets were super cheap because it's like a Tuesday evening game. I did get 5 rows behind the Mariners dugout, so I am pumped about that. And those weren't even that expensive, so I'm fired up. But I think
please God, let a Mariners player have a green bat so that Slater can see him in the on-deck circle and light up. That's what we need. He
loves the green bat. He'll probably love Julio because he wears all the green accessories, the sleeves and all that. So we'll see how it goes. All right. Anyways, back to things people care about. We do rarely lead this show with NHL, but this is the situation that calls for it, gentlemen. The Carolina Hurricanes. Man, it was looking bleak going into the latter stages of the third period. They were trailing Vegas 2-0 in the final 10 minutes, and I was texting Wags and Scott Lorbatcher, and I said, man, if they can just get a goal, it feels like they can get some momentum and kind of come to life. We've seen them score in bunches at times, and that's what happened. They go up 3-2, give up the game-tying goal, and then go to overtime. Seth Jarvis on the one-timer. I believe Tripp Tracy said it was maybe the most famous one-timer in Hurricanes history, which is a bold statement. But to win the overtime game, even the series at a game apiece, crazy game, Bobby. And even as a non-Hurricanes fan, first off, I put money on the Canes to win going into overtime because I think they're now, 6-0?
Yeah.
It's playoffs in
Undefeated.
overtime. So I just figured they would get it done. But I was invested for that time for you guys. But just sitting back and watching it, crazy game. And I'm happy for my Hurricanes buddies that they're not down 0-2 because that would have been tough going back to Vegas.
Yeah, I kind of get what Tripp's saying. Not only is the one-timer in the Stanley Cup, which is a huge deal, but if you go down in the series 0-2, you're kind of screwed. Like, it's essentially over at that point. I'm glad you had a lot more faith than I did to put a bet in because I thought when we gave up that goal at the end, when they had pulled the goalie, I was like, man, we're toast. I mean, that's it. And because – when we scored to go up 3-2, in my head, I felt confident in the power kill. I felt confident we could kill the penalty there. And then the other thing, I always say, like, I know the penalties are like 2 minutes long or whatever like that, but the kill is actually, in my head, never over until the puck is blown dead or it gets out of the zone. And we could never get it out of the zone, and they just kept hanging around and finally got an open shot. When that happened, I was like, we're toast. Because my intention going into the game was to put a bet on the Canes. I was like, we're not going down 0-2. And then I lost faith and couldn't bring myself to put it together before overtime.
Philip, we talked about it, man. I think we both expected the Canes to win this game. I don't think we saw it in this fashion. So what did you make of last night? Obviously the rally, but more so the long-term outlook of this too, because it feels like Vegas is kind of here to make this a true series, obviously.
They are, yeah. So I think the better team won last night. I thought the Carolina Hurricanes were the better team in the first period. They just had one kind of unfortunate play, but also you could just say it was a hell of a play by Vegas to score the one goal they had on the one-on-one chance. Second period, Vegas was better. You're not going to win every period. And then Carolina was definitely better in the third period. So it's one of those things where Vegas, I felt like, played their style of hockey last night. That's how their first two goals, came. It came on the rush. That's how they want to score. And I thought Carolina played their style of hockey last night, and it was a pretty evenly matched game. Even though the scorebook says maybe Vegas dominated the first 50 minutes and Carolina dominated the last 10, it really only felt like the domination came in those last 10 minutes. Overall, it really was a fairly evenly matched hockey game, really for the first 50 minutes, I thought. And it's proven, though, when Vegas is playing their brand of hockey, and I think the way these two teams play, both teams can kind of play their brand at the same time. It's going to be who plays their brand better. But when Vegas is playing their brand, they can skate with the Canes. They can hang with the Canes. This is going to be a long series. This is going to be a good series from a neutral standpoint. You've just got to do a better job at what you do than they do at what they do.
So going into really the overtime, I feel like Aho, Jarvis, and Svechnikov have not done hardly anything this whole playoffs. As a non-hockey knower, admittedly, what has been their issue, and could this unlock something, Philip? Just Jarvis seeing obviously a huge goal hit the back of the net.
Yeah, I think it could be huge. And the biggest reason is, look, if the Canes want to play their brand of hockey and be successful, I think the top line is going to have to get going. They were able to do it against other teams without the top line because they were so suffocating defensively, didn't allow the puck into the zone, didn't allow the other team to set up. Well, that's fine. You can do that against Vegas. They're still going to find a way to score on the rush. We saw it twice last night. Therefore, you're going to have to score goals. They are going to find a way to put the puck in the net because of how they do it. And if this top line is not going for the Canes because Vegas is a very physical defensive team, the Canes aren't going to win the series. I hope that just one goal can turn it around. You know, we're going to look back on that goal and say it was a blimp on the radar, or we're going to say, hey, that was maybe the turning point in the series. So to answer your question, Stephen, I don't know. I know that was a lot of word salad, but if you're a Canes fan, you hope it does turn the series. But if it's a blimp on the radar, the Carolina Hurricanes will not win the Stanley Cup.
Well, even that, Rod switched the lines for the third period. So
really?
We had Martinook go up to that first line with Aho and Svechnikov, and then he dropped Jarvis down. Now, the biggest thing to me is the power play actually coming alive because our power play has been absolutely abysmal the entire playoffs. And for them to score 2 power play goals there back-to-back was huge as well. And just adding icing on the cake that the fact that Jarvis is the one that saw the puck go in net.
I know you talked about it, but yeah, and Vegas technically scored right after their power play, but the Canes had been suffocating, not even letting them get a shot off in their power play. So, I mean, that would seem to be a positive, but we'll see what adjustments are made.
Well, it's funny, and I'm in a group text thread with a bunch of Hurricanes fan buddies of mine, and we're almost joking like, hey, can we decline a penalty like football? Like
right.
Can we decline the penalty and not have to go on the power play because we cannot play with a man advantage. We actually tend to play better at a disadvantage and end up getting more quality looks than the opponent does. But, I was kind of shocked when that's why the fact of them scoring to tie it never crossed my mind because our penalty kill had been so great and stout up to that point in time.
All right, Hurricanes at Golden Knights. Game 3 will be Saturday, June 6th. Game 4. They'll have a 2-day layoff in between, and then they'll go on June 9th. What do we know about? I mean, obviously Vegas has, a lot of Stanley Cup experience, but their home ice advantage, is it pretty rowdy? I mean, it is Vegas, but I can't imagine it compares to Carolina, but clearly you're on the road, so there's going to be some advantage towards them.
Philip will probably be able to answer this better than I can. My understanding of Vegas, like the pre-show and like going into the presentation of everything is what's fantastic. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be ruckus. It's a Stanley Cup final game, but I don't think it's as loud as Carolina. I think they get a lot of hype for their presentation of everything and all the pre-show stuff.
Yeah, also, the arena there, the roof is a little higher. With the lower roof, the Lenovo Center, it's a loud arena on top of being a ruckus fan base. But we asked Mike Maniscalco about this on the Patrick Johnson show, and he brought up the really good point of, some people do live in Vegas. Some people are from Vegas, and until the Vegas Golden Knights, they never had anything to call their own. So this was the first true Vegas thing, right? Because they don't claim hotels and gambling and other activities that we're not going to talk about on the radio as their own. That's part of what the city is, of course. But for the residents who live there, and because there are residents there, there are people who run car dealerships and are bankers and are insurance agents and whatever. Those people, the first thing they've ever had to call their own is the Vegas Golden Knights. I think they are a passionate fan base, but to Bobby's point, they're still a new fan base. The presentation's great. I don't think it's going to be as ruckus as Carolina. It's not going to be as ruckus as what Carolina faced when they went up to Montreal or even Ottawa the last two. But with that being said, it's not, North Carolina Tar Heel basketball. It's not a wine and cheese crowd either.
I got a question for both of y'all. The goalie interference, the challenge by...
I was going to bring that up.
Okay, I'll let you bring it up then.
Well, I was just going to ask as somebody who doesn't really understand hockey, like watching it, it looked like it was a goal, but I understand, I guess, when they lose sight of the puck, they have to blow it dead if they're the official. I was texting Wags about this, but also there was interference as well, so it was deemed, even if it would have been a goal, if they deemed it interference, it wouldn't matter. Philip, I didn't know you're
So the weird thing is they never said interference until they challenged it. So here's the thing. If they blow the puck dead, but there is visual evidence that the puck was already moving towards the goal line, when the whistle blew and it never got aided farther, they can go back and say, okay, we wrongfully blew a whistle. With that being said, the way I took it, Freddie was laying on it. It was presumably standing still. The whistle blew. Then somebody's stick came in, got under Freddie's chest, touched the puck, puck goes in the net. The whistle blew before that stick ever went under Freddie's chest. I thought it was a horrible challenge. The rules analyst thought it was a horrible challenge. The announcers thought it was a horrible challenge. The rules analyst was even kind of giving you word salad, like, I think they're challenging this, but they could be challenging. Like, he was going through like 8 different scenarios because he didn't even know what the hell they were challenging. Yeah. I think that was an emotional decision by John Tortorella. I disagreed with it. A guy who's a Hall of Fame coach, great coach. That might be one of those when he looks back on his career at his most bonehead decisions. That might be at the top of the list.
Well, I was in that same interpretation. I thought it wasn't even close, and it was a really dumb challenge. Now, Mark Messier, who I cannot stand, by the way, I think the Stanley Cup broadcast should be on TNT for the record.
He seemed to not know the rules either.
Yeah, that was my thing.
I felt like Mark Messier watching it because I don't know the rules. So to be sure, Mark Messier knows the rules, but I guess not.
Yeah, I mean, apparently not. And then but the other one that really stood out, and I was like, maybe I'm wrong then, is TJ Oshie after the fact, which, you know, obviously a great hockey player for the Capitals and whatnot, but he was saying it was a goal, and he thought it was a goal. So I was like, all right, if 2 NHL guys are saying it's a goal, maybe I'm incorrect, but I don't think I am.
Tim Smith is in the chat. He says the stick hit Anderson's glove, which prevented Anderson from closing his glove on the puck.
Okay.
Oh, so that's where that makes sense. Okay, so the goalie interference wasn't when the stick came in late. That would have been before that. Okay, that makes sense.
I just felt like watching it, I guess you could assume the puck stopped, but based on the video, it just felt like it just slid underneath Anderson into the goal. But I guess if there was interference, then that would deem it, a no-go either way.
That's funny. The rules analyst said no goal.
Yeah. That's why I was glad that he was pushing back on Messier so hard. And I got to say, Messier, I'm going to go on a rant here. I'm sorry. But going in, this is what drives me nuts about ESPN. You going into game 1 of a Stanley Cup final, and he looks so unprepared going into the broadcast, and that's what drove me nuts. I was like, dude, this is not – you're not going to a sport you don't cover. The Stanley Cup, hockey is your thing. This is the premier event. And you're not even talking about third, fourth liners. You're talking about the stars, and you're having to go back and double check names and stuff. I was like, come on, man.
I guess just because he's got a famous name, they put him up there.
Apparently.
Got to do your research. All right. Any other hockey talk we need to get in before we get a break in?
I tell you what, Canes win game 3, lose game 4, come back to Lenovo tied 2-2.
I'm gonna say Canes in 5.
Ooh, I love it.
I don't know about that. This thing's at least going 6.
Probably so, but what do you think?
You know what? Let's run back 06, baby. Canes in 7.
Canes in 7. Game 7 in Raleigh would be electrifying.
Bobby Harward will be in Raleigh for Game 7. Not attending the game.
Okay, I was about to say. You're going to spend your life savings?
No, we had always planned to go when they made it, but we were thinking the tickets would be like $500 a piece, not $900 or $1,000. So.
And Game 7 could be $1,500 to get in.
Yeah, I had been kind of scrolling. That's my other thing is Game 1 and 2, it's not like a NFC championship game or whatnot where there's a deciding – it's the deciding game. If you go 1 and 2, you're going to others after. But
crazy stuff, but should be a fun series, man. 1-1 after the OT victory last night. So there's your hockey segment 1 talk. That may be a first in Hoist the Colors, at least taking up the whole segment. We'll get a break in. We'll come back. ECU football. We'll continue on our state of the position rooms offensive line. I know it's not the sexiest thing to talk about, but I promise you it's probably the most important thing. So we'll get to that and how I feel and why I feel pretty good about this O-line coming out of the spring. That next.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arrgh! In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your...
The Pirates play here.
Time to play the game!
This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in. Hoist the Colors, segment 2 here. And we have officially reached run it back season on the ECU Baseball Twitter account. We're going to talk ECU offensive lineman in a minute. Bobby Harward with us. Brought to you by Sup Dogs today. Philip Pilkinen producing. Sup Dogs, check them out. 213 East 5th Street over by the famous Stop Shop. And you can check out Sup Dogs across the street. It's Crush Vodka. Brett and his crew obviously do so much for ECU and ECU Athletics. Make sure to support them. They support our show. They support ECU. And it is the place to be for lunch, dinner, or just to hang out. And make sure to check out and support Sup Dogs. We have our first official post, gentlemen. Braden Burris and Grady Linehan officially back in the purple and gold next year. So I would say that's probably your two most important position players.
Huge.
Slater is going to be really happy. He's a Grady Linehan fan. I told him, my 4-year-old son, I was like, now look, don't get too attached because you never know, but I do feel good about Grady coming back. So this is a positive development.
No, those are the two guys that you need. I mean, to me, those two are just freaking baseball players, man. Like, they are the definition of baseball players. They're two of my favorites already. Obviously, Burris has been here longer, but they're two of my favorite guys to watch, too. So Slater has a good eye.
Super electrifying Grady Linehan. I think he's going to be a very good pro player one day as well. And then Braden, I mean, the way he hits, he'll get a shot, too. So more on that to come. Let's get into this offensive line discussion, gentlemen. I kind of have an overview, so to speak, and then we'll have some roundtable discussion. So really your main returner that has played a lot of football in this group is Bryce Weaver, DH Conley product. Can play multiple positions. Worked a lot at left tackle in the spring, has also worked at guard, has even worked at center in the past. So I think he'll start somewhere, and I like they moved him around a lot in the spring. They brought in 3 key transfers, and all these guys, to me, looked the part in the spring. You never really know what you're going to get from the portal. I think this group, though, will play a lot, probably start. Brandon Best, all-conference guard from Kennesaw State, worked more at center in the spring. I think he profiles best as a center but could play center or guard. They also brought in an all-conference lineman from Northern Arizona, Ethan Kramer. He can play either guard spot. He could play tackle. I think he's a better fit personally for guard. I think he'll start probably at right guard, but could start at left guard as well. He looked really good in the spring. And then Hayes Krill from Southern Miss, good numbers from his previous stops, Zach McNeese and Southern Miss. He was even better than I thought he'd be in the spring. Watch him take live reps. Right tackle is where I project him to start, and I think he will start there. So I think you have 4 solidified starters: Hayes Krill, Ethan Kramer, Brandon Best, Bryce Weaver. Now, the other question I have is the other guard spot. Kendall Walton repped a lot there in the spring, talented redshirt freshman. Carson Jones was coming back from injury and did not really rep a lot. Will be back for the summer. He was your projected starting center going into last year and suffered a season-ending knee injury. So he's coming off an injury, but I do think they like him as a starting capable option. The other names to really know, they brought in Nico Payek, a guard grad transfer from Valpo. Can't play center or guard. I expect him to push for a starting job. And you also bring back Marlio Neolian, who started at Tulane last year, has some ability. So those are like the 7, 8 top-line guys. We'll stop there and kind of go through them and then kind of discuss maybe some of the further depth. But Christian Harris, another one at tackle, JUCO tackle that looked pretty good in the spring for his first spring, Bobby. So, I feel pretty good about those 7, 8 guys. And the main takeaway I have from the spring is that the transfers they brought in, they believe they hit on them.
Well, I was going to say, for this room to be replacing all 5 starters and a position coach, that's a ton of turnover. And so initially off the bat, you're concerned. But for me to feel as good as I do right now, granted, it's June, but to feel as good as I do about all that transition and turnover, I mean, it kind of speaks to what they did in the portal. And that's my biggest takeaway, and that's what you're asking with your question is we were able to get guys this portal season, especially up front, we have not been able to get at East Carolina. And for them to beat Memphis for Brandon Best, who was previously coached by Charles Huff, that's a huge deal. And then to have Creel come in, another big win. And then now that you also have Ethan Kramer, he's a guy I feel like we've kind of gotten in the past, and maybe a lower level guy that's come up. But for him to be able to plug and play right in at guard, it's a huge deal to get three starters out of the portal.
I guess the biggest question I have is at this point, I just don't know where everybody fits, and talking to some people over there, I think that's the biggest unknown. But I guess also from talking with people, Bobby, it's look, we're just going to find the best 5 guys, and we'll figure out where they fit. Clearly, it'd be nice to have a 6'6" tackle, but, at the end of the day, you want your best offensive lineman to play, regardless of kind of size, all that. So I think that'll be the biggest thing of the summer and the preseason camp is, all right, is Best our center? Is Jones going to get back in the mix at center? I've heard Jones could even play tackle. So, I think they're just going to move some puzzle pieces around and hopefully solidify a starting 5.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the best approach, especially when you have so much newness within that position group. I mean, obviously, they're not going to put 6'7" Hayes Creel at center and have him snap the ball. That's not going to happen. Yeah. He'll be outside at tackle. But I love what they did with Carson Jones recovering in the spring. Obviously, he's a guy that has center experience. Well, now, Best, I believe, had a little bit, but now you're training him in your system for center. I'm telling you what, center is probably the I would argue it's one of the hardest in terms of the offensive line, just from all the identifications and stuff on the defense of what they're being asked to do. Now, that will be an easy transition for him to slide to one of those 2 guard spots if they find out, hey, Carson is a better center than Best. Best seems to be a better guard than Carson. We can just flip-flop and then go from there. The other thing that I love is these guys are experienced too. It's not like they don't have any battle scars. They don't have any in-game experience. They're going to be battle-tested when they come in, so they shouldn't have a deer in the headlights look when they're out there for the first time.
Philip, you hearing us talk, how do you feel about this group on paper as it sits on June 5th?
I think you've got a lot of good problems to have. I think at the end of the day, if you can trust 8 guys, especially at a school like East Carolina, you're in a damn good spot. Now, can we trust all 8 of these guys, names we called out, in a game situation? TBD. However, if you can find 5 bodies who can play, 3 backups, again, like you said, Each position does take a different skill set. Guys do profile at certain positions. However, find the best 5 and then figure out the positions from later. Also, I think there are a few guys, for example, Carson Jones, that you feel like, hey, maybe if he's one of my starting 5, I can figure out where the other 4 guys slot the best, and then he gets put in position whatever because he can play so many things. And he's my big question coming into the year. Guys, he's not coming off 1 injury. He's coming off 2. Talent-wise, you asked Steven, who's going to be the 5th offensive lineman? If Carson Jones is Carson Jones and he's the player that he was in Houston and the player that he can be moving forward, he's 100% the 5th guy. He is what is going to be best. He has the best ceiling. The question comes down to, is he the same player he used to be coming off of that injury? And if the answer is yes, this team's in a good spot. This offensive line's in a good spot. If the answer is no, they're not necessarily in a bad spot, but it will be a little disappointing because, again, I think he's your most versatile guy. I think he probably has the highest upside. And also, look, I mean, let's just be honest. I know it's about what you can do on the field, but a guy who can be a leader, a guy who has a high football IQ, a guy who I think his teammates respect him, at least the interaction I've had with Carson, seems like a really good dude. Seems like he could be a leader out there. So, there's a lot of questions, but I think they're good questions. It's not like, oh, crap, how the hell are we going to find 5 of them? That ain't the question. So we're in a good spot.
Yeah, I think for me, obviously I'm keeping an eye on Carson's health first and foremost, but Marlio going into his redshirt junior year, he's played a little bit, played some special teams. This is kind of his time to prove he can play and play a lot of snaps. Now, I would not project him as a starter, but you guys know as well as anybody, you're not going to go through a whole season on offensive line and not miss time with injuries, possibly multiple guys. And, I think he's got to be one of the next guys up. He can play tackle. He can play guard. He's a big body. I just think it's his time. The other guys I'm really keeping an eye on, Kendall Walton, they're super high on, but he is a redshirt freshman. I just would like him to ideally develop this year a little more if he has to play. I think he can handle it. I just don't know if he's ready physically. And then Christian Harris, for a JUCO tackle, he absolutely looks the part. And I think he's just kind of raw. But to me, he looks like a guy size-wise, physicality-wise, that can compete at this level. Jeremiah Williams, another former JUCO guy, center, can provide depth there. And then Bryson Esther was injured during the spring. He's another JUCO guy who's 6'8". So there's that next wave of guys who have potential. They just need to continue to develop. But, overall, Davy Jones asked, how deep are we on the offensive line? Are we at least too deep for American Conference? I think by American Conference standards, ECU's in great shape. Now, we were talking to the Alabama writer yesterday. He said the offensive line is kind of a weakness for them. Look, if Alabama can't find enough offensive linemen, that just kind of tells you about the state of college football. I was listening to him even further explain it earlier this offseason. There's just not enough good offensive linemen anymore, Bobby. It's a problem.
That's why the portal numbers are crazy for those guys. You get guys that you can project from a measurement standpoint, hit the portal. They have a lick of game experience, but they're going for 7 figures just because they're huge guys with potential and they're so limited. They don't grow on trees. And, in the past, ECU has to rely on – this was, again, Brandon Jones's philosophy. You saw it with Ike Harris. You saw it with Brandon Smith and some of those guys. He would take basketball players that were tall and lengthy, put a butt ton of weight on them, and then ensure they have great feet out at tackle, and then try to build them. And now with the portal, and obviously we lost a few good offensive linemen to the portal this year. The fact that they were able to replace it is crazy, but also you can't blame those kids for leaving because the amount of money they're getting because of their skill set is so unique. But no doubt developing experience competitive depth across. Because, dude, I heard you just going through the list of JUCOs. JUCO linemen scare me.
Yeah, it's not. You can usually find guys with size, but the strength aspect, the strength trainer program I've found, is just not the same at all.
It's very hit or miss.
Yep.
And then also just kind of understanding of the game conceptually as well can lag and take some time to catch up. Obviously, Quincy McKinney is one that's come to mind of one that's
the only one that I can remember that worked out.
Yeah, Dante Livingston had a few good games, maybe a good season or so, but The other thing that factors in, though, is the scheme. I think this scheme is very pro-offensive line as well, which will also help hide some of those weaknesses, especially in pass protection. We've talked about how much they utilize quick game, and just obviously the quicker the quarterback can get the ball out of his hands, the better it is for an offensive line.
You know, Stephen, you brought up if Alabama's having struggles, everybody must be in trouble. I'm here to tell you there are not 160 starting offensive linemen in the NFL. There's 160 starting jobs, but they're not all filled with starters. I mean, that's the bottom line, man. It's the thinnest position, dare I say, in all sports. I mean, you got to think that if you have 2 good offensive linemen on your high school roster, you feel good. If you've got 3 to 4 on your college football roster, you feel good. And there are some decent offensive lines in the NFL who only have 4 really good offensive linemen. I mean, it's just the way it is.
It's just hard to find a dude who's 6'5", 300 pounds, athletic, can move people, and is tough enough to play the position mentally and physically. You know, it's like you got to be smart as crap too. So, look, all in all, man, I feel pretty good about this group. Like, do I feel like it's a slam dunk? No, but like Bobby said, to lose what you lost going into the offseason, I was worried. Now I'm not worried, and now it just comes down to health and consistency, which you can't really bank on health up front, but at least you got a shot going in. So we'll see how it plays out. All right, there's your state of the offensive line room and your state of the offense overall. We'll switch to defense next week. We'll start with the defensive line early next week when we continue that preview of the ECU football team. We'll get a break in. We'll come back. Super Regionals underway. We'll make some picks, have some discussion on that after this.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
In Eastern North Carolina, people appreciate things that are straightforward, honest, and dependable. For decades, our team has focused on cutting through insurance complexity for the communities we serve. And now, we're bringing that same mindset to our name. We're Flatlands Insurance Group, a simpler name that reflects the same local team, the same values, and the same commitment to the great communities we feel blessed to be a part of. Flatlands Insurance Group, your whole world is covered.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, Newbern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's.
Get ready to board. We're live with Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game. Now, back to Hoist the Colors.
Segment 3 here on HTC. We've talked hockey. We've talked ECU football offensive line. Let's talk some college baseball now. ECU, of course, out of it. If you did miss it, last segment, ECU has started to trickle out some run-it-back posts. It is officially run-it-back season, and Grady Linehan and Braden Burrows have been tagged in those tweets. So that's big news for the Pirates. Expected, but still big news, and that's the error win. Bobby Harward with us, brought to you by Sup Dogs today. Philip Pilkington producing. Super Regionals are underway. Let's make some picks, gentlemen. Cal Poly, West Virginia, technically already underway, but was anybody thinking Cal Poly here to begin with? I mean, it's a nice story. West Virginia already up 3-0 in the first. As we know in college baseball, no lead is safe. But I think I'm going to go Mountaineers here.
I had Mountaineers. I think also a telltale giveaway is ESPN has only tracked 3 of Cal Poly's games, apparently, because their record is 3-0. So that tells me enough.
Yeah, last week they had ECU with like 76 wins and 2 ties. I guess they just doubled the record. I don't know if y'all saw that or not.
No, I did not.
Had ECU at like 76, 40-something and 2. So,
gosh, ESPN. The idiots that do that must be the same guy that put the sorry, I know what you're talking about. The did you see the tweet though, Bobby, about this was not called a goal and it's the puck in the net and then they no context. Yeah. ESPN's
That's
a
ESPN.
joke.
Yeah.
Anything Mickey Mouse touches turns to crap. Anyways, I had the Mountaineers.
USC, North Carolina the favorite. I'm going to take the Tar Heels, but USC, just the more I read up on them, they're a threat to go in here and win this thing. They can pitch. I do think the travel going from Texas back to Southern Cal, back to Chapel Hill, pretty early start time, 3 o'clock on a Friday. I'm gonna go Heels here. They're starting Ryan Lynch game 1.
This was one of the ones that's kind of back and forth. I was with you. I thought USC could threat, but then actually I had the reverse reaction when I did more research. I didn't think, looking at their schedule, they competed well with ranked teams, at least throughout the season. So I got Carolina and their pitching staff.
Is Carolina curveball? Are they going? Did they get credentials?
As far as I know, I need to text Kaysen. I'm pretty sure they did.
Sweet. Carolina.
And then we got, according to ESPN here, 39-26 Little Rock against 4-1 Troy in a super regional. I guess they just didn't update the records after regional. But I'll be honest, guys. Look, I know that they're going to get shafted with the time slot. Yeah, 5 o'clock ESPNU. Typical ESPN. Hey, let's stick the 2 smaller schools on ESPNU at 5 o'clock. But I'm going to be locked into this series, and I'm picking Little Rock. Don't ask me why. I think there's going to be pressure on Troy, though. You go from being like the last team in, playing with house money. Now everybody's expecting you to win at home.
Yeah.
This is a big spot for them.
It is a big spot. And for the record, college football would never allow this to happen.
100%.
Never allow. And that's what's so beautiful about college baseball. But give me the Trojans, give me the Fun Belt to go to Omaha.
Yeah, I almost wonder, does the pressure get to them in game 1 and then they figure it out? I think maybe they lose today and come back and win it in 3. Give me Troy.
Ole Miss is at Auburn. We saw Auburn lose to Milwaukee, rally to win the regional after falling in game 1. Bristol Carter barely played in that regional, so I don't know if he's been benched or what. I'm going Ole Miss here on the road. I'm not sold on Auburn, but this should be a fun atmosphere. 8 o'clock ESPN tonight.
Samesies. I have any time throughout the season, even when I put Auburn on, I have not been impressed. Give me the Rebels.
I'm going to go the other way. I think Auburn, they've struggled at times. I still think they're probably the second most complete roster left behind Carolina, so I'm going to go with the Tigers.
Auburn couldn't get it done last year at home against Coastal. We'll see if they can get it done this year against SEC Brethren. All right, on Saturday you will have all 8 Super Regionals in action, including Game 1 of Mississippi State and Georgia, 11 a.m. on ESPN. This is at Georgia, so I guess it's an 11 a.m. Eastern. I was about to say 10 a.m. Central, but they're playing in Georgia. All SEC matchup here. Brian O'Connor leading the Bulldogs year 1 there. Georgia has been amazing all year. I'm just going to go with the home team here. I'm going to go with the Dogs.
I'm going to zag. I'm going to say 2 teams from the state of Mississippi will be in Omaha, and so give me the Bulldogs to get it done.
You just wonder, though, like you said, first-year coach, is the experience not quite there? Athens is a really tough place to win. However, if you can silence that frat house up in right field, you can really swing the momentum your way. You're going to have to get out to an early start, but I'm going with the Dogs.
Oklahoma.
Watchdogs.
Oh,
that's
the
a good
dogs,
point.
not the dogs.
Yeah.
The dogs.
Oklahoma at Kansas in an old Big 12 matchup. Oklahoma now in the SEC. Incredible win to knock off Georgia Tech. Kansas, kind of a crazy story. A bunch of JUCO guys. Obviously, a really good team. I'm going to go Kansas at home here to win 2 out of 3. I know Oklahoma played well in the regional, but I'm going to go Jayhawks.
You know, I was talking at church Sunday morning how I thought Georgia Tech was going to win it all, and then Oklahoma comes and knocks them out. I think Boomer Sooner goes to Omaha as well. I will not trust the Jayhawks in anything other than hoops.
You know, they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Call me insane. I said last week the moment was too big for Kansas. They won. I still think it's too big this week. Give me the Sooners.
8 o'clock, game 1 on Saturday, ESPN. 11th seeded Oregon, 6th seeded Texas. This is one of the few regionals that went chalk in the Supers that led to the Super matchup, I should say. And it should be a fascinating series. That said, I'm going Longhorns here. I think Texas is just too good. Oregon actually did get out of its regional this time, but I'm going Longhorns.
Yeah, hook 'em horns.
Yeah, you know, the interesting thing, everything says pick Texas. However, when we filled out our Omaha 8 last week, I had this as my big upset during the Super Regional weekend. I'm going to stick to my my guns here. Give me the Ducks.
And then the final Super Regional this weekend, St. John's, 3-0 St. John's at 40-19 Alabama. And I'm going to do it. St. John's. The Red Storm, I'm not sold on this Alabama team. I know they're a national seed. I just got a feeling, man, we're going to see Little Rock and St. John's in Omaha. Red Storm, baby. Rick Pitino.
Wow. You know, I feel like Football Friday. Rolling down the backwoods, Tennessee byway. One arm on the wheel. B is for Bama.
I'm with you, baby. This will be the worst Super Regional of them all. As the kids say, BTA. It's not close. You can keep smoking whatever it is you're smoking, Steven, but it ain't happening.
I cannot wait to bring this clip back next Friday when we're breaking down the Field of 8 in Omaha, and St. John's is about to play one of the first games, and Bama's sitting at home.
And Rick Pitino is sitting in Omaha in a white suit, just right front row, right behind home plate.
He'll 100% be there. Probably be part of the opening ceremonies just for to get a few more eyeballs. Look, what if we got Cal Poly, St. John's, and Little Rock in Arkansas? Or in Omaha, excuse me.
I would love it.
The ESPN execs wouldn't love it,
They
though.
would not. Start seeing some questionable ball strike calls.
Yeah, the tough thing, man, about that, like it's so cool. Like when you're watching the games, you're gonna be pulling for that. But then when you get to Omaha, it's like the Final Four, man. You want Cinderella to go on a run until about the Elite Eight, and it's like, okay, we don't want to watch St. Peter's make the Final Four. I mean, not that I was pulling for Carolina, but
right.
Maybe that wasn't the best example. But you get my point.
There's a point when it comes a little too far. So, all right. Well, that'll do it for this segment. Bobby, I know you got to run, man.
Yep.
Appreciate you as always, dude.
Yep, enjoyed it. Glad to be back.
We'll see you next Friday. So looking forward to that. Bobby Harward brought to you by Sup Dogs Today. All right, we'll get a break in. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the show after this.
The power of savings is yours at Greenville Toyota with powerful deals on our huge selection of new Toyotas, like a Camry, $229 a month, or the all-new RAV4, $279. Don't miss the power of savings at Greenville Toyota.
In Eastern North Carolina, hard work matters, and it always has. At Flatlands Insurance Group, we've been showing up for our neighbors since 1963, helping families and business owners navigate change, weather tough seasons, and keep moving forward. Decades later, our purpose hasn't changed: to help protect what you've poured your time and energy to, from your home to your health to whatever comes next. Flatlands Insurance Group, your whole world covered.
Need cash for a vacation? National Finance Company is here to help. For over 50 years, National Finance Company has been the small loan specialist with loans from $1,000 to $5,000 with low payments to meet your budget. We're in the business of getting you the cash you need today. Apply online for a loan at one of our convenient branch offices and get your money as fast as today. It's easy. Get the vacation cash you need. For extra cash, visit nfcmoney.com.
Your future is full of possibilities, and Pitt Community College can help you explore every option. You can earn a degree, learn a trade, transfer to a university, or launch a new career. We offer the support you need to succeed with flexible schedules, affordable tuition, and programs designed for the real world. Your path, your future, your college. Pitt Community College. Register now.
Visit Larry's Steakhouse for a tender, hand-cut certified Angus ribeye. Other entrees include perfectly seasoned pork chops, chicken, or seafood favorites like shrimp, tuna, and salmon. Complement your meal with Larry's fresh 20-plus item salad bar, or enjoy it as an all-you-can-eat entree. Daily rotating favorites include meatloaf, chicken pastry, hamburger steak, spaghetti, pork chops, and more, all complemented with your favorite country sides. Whether it's for lunch, dinner, or our Sunday brunch, remember to support and eat local. Larry's Steakhouse.
The hunting and fishing event of the summer comes to the Greenville Convention Center, July 11th and 12th, bringing together the best hunting and fishing vendors, outfitters, and fishing experts, all under one roof. Special free events, including a mountain trout pond, indoor archery range, offshore fishing experience, interactive duck blind, and free seminars. Don't miss it. The Mid-Atlantic Hunting and Fishing Expo is July 11th and 12th.
With new Toyota trucks from $259 a month, you've got the power of savings at Greenville Toyota. Drive Tacoma's $259 a month or Tundra's only $399 a month at Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Loyal and bold, we're the purple and golds.
Yo, ho, ho!
And we're back to hoist the colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Final segment here, final few minutes. Appreciate Bobby Harward, his time today. He's got to get to something, so we let him out a segment early. We touched a little bit on it, but we'll hit more on it here. We got more time. The run it back posts are out. We do have a third post that has since dropped. It's ECU baseball players are pointing out that they're coming back, or the baseball account is tweeting about that. Braden Burris, I never really had a doubt that Braden Burris would come back. I mean, the dude just seems like he's a Pirate. Grady Lanahan back as well. And then the third post is Thomas Paxton, who we didn't see a ton of this year due to shoulder soreness, but he has affirmed his return as well. And that at least gives you a bullpen arm for next season. So Paxton last year, transfer from Belmont Abbey, ended up throwing 11 2/3 innings, gave up 13 hits, just one walk, 9 strikeouts, and a 2.31 ERA. So you know he's going to throw strikes, and you know he's going to eat some innings, Phillip. So, look, realistically, you're not having Sean Jenkins next year. Obviously, coming off surgery, he could have moved into the rotation, but you're also losing Joseph Webb. My understanding is Gavin Marley is, even though he has a year left, he is getting married and has a job, so he's moving on to the real world. So your bullpen, you do have Hoagland and Rose back. I expect them to be announced, but like you're going to need to develop some back end arms, is what I'm getting at, either by transfer or returning or incoming freshmen.
Yeah, and that's every year, every baseball team, even pre-portal, right? Like you're going to have to bring in more bullpen guys than you had. Healthy Brett Antolik. Fingers crossed.
Do we want? Let's say Antolik's back. Do you want him as a starter or a bullpen guy? Because
I don't know. Are Kobe Weber and Gavin Van Kempen healthy?
I don't think Van Kempen's back. I think Weber will be good to go at some point next season, from what I understand.
Okay, so I get where you're coming from. So you're saying go Towers, Antolik, and Weber?
I think that'd be a pretty sick rotation. But you do want some flamethrowers at the back end.
You do.
Now, ECU did have a 6'7" guy who throws a 98 on campus yesterday, so that's obviously what they're looking for, but for a transfer visit. But yeah, it's, I guess it's just you take as many good arms as you can, then you figure out later.
Yeah.
Overall, the run it back posts, I mean, I sigh at it because I don't blame ECU for doing it, and I don't blame the players for doing it, because honestly, Phillip, it's one of those things. As much as I don't like it, because it's kind of ridiculous that you have to announce you're returning to the school you're already at. Otherwise, we're just going to sit here and speculate, is player X, is player Y going to return? So, I get why they do it. And I guess it makes our job a little easier, but it is just kind of a sign of the times.
Yeah, you're right. It's stupid that they have to do it. However, am I going to sleep easier tonight knowing that Braden Burris and Grady Linehan are going to be back next year? You can bet your top dollar I'm going to sleep better tonight. So, yeah, I'm glad they're doing it.
Cameron says, this year was the offense that was disappointing. Next year, I think our offense can be so much better. Only problem is I think our pitching could be a big issue unless we hit the portal hard. I think Austin Knight has proven he can do the portal thing with pitching.
Yeah, that Webb guy was pretty good. Van Kempen was pretty good.
Towers.
And Tolick when he was healthy, which he was really healthy, it felt like till about the last week of the season. Gosh, we're missing somebody. Who else was decent out of the portal?
Well, they added Moran. I know he was injured, but,
Yeah.
I mean, he was a serviceable arm. You know, Thomas Paxton was a portal addition.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
What about Rose? Was he a freshman?
Rose a freshman.
Okay.
Oakland's a freshman. At the end of the day, man, I trust Austin Knight. Like, he's got through how many injury-riddled seasons now? I just think he's going to find a way to piece it together. Now, would it be nice to have 10, 12 arms rather than 6, 7, 8 that you trust? But a lot of that is just injuries in college baseball.
Well, there's 2 teams that have that many arms that they trust. Only one of them still playing.
Yeah, it's tough. So, at the end of the day, I think ECU will be fine on the pitching side, but there's no doubt they got to get to work because how it looks on paper isn't great as of today, but I expect some additions in time. All right. Speaking of that, we'll have a segment next week or a show next week, Philip, where we dive into the state of the roster, maybe look at key pieces returning, what the biggest needs are, all that good stuff for next week.
I think that's a whole show because I think infield's one show or one segment, outfield, and then starting pitching and bullpen. So it's 4 segments right there.
There you go. And we'll have a better idea because I'm sure we'll have more run it back posts come next weekend, maybe more portal entries as well. Everybody enjoy the weekend. Thanks for listening. We'll see you on Monday, 12 noon on Hoist the Colors.